Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Superman Lois's Bitsie Tulloch, who has just done an interview to do with the new Superman movie and Superman Lois, so we got a lot to talk about. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos later this year. Okay, so Superman Lois has been over for a while, but we've had lots of Comic-Con events where the actors have been present. They've talked about Superman Lois, the Arrowverse, and even the Superman film, which is currently out right now. You guys should go ahead and watch it if you haven't watched it. I've uploaded a spoiler-free review on my channel, and also we talked about a couple other things in a separate video to do with Superman, so go check out those videos. They're up on the channel right now. And one more thing before we fully get into today's main topic. Go follow my TikTok, it's at bendctvshow, it will be the top link in the description below to get regular news type content and other content over there that I'm going to be posting. I posted like 5 or 6 videos right now, go check them out and follow me there, trying to get to like maybe 500 followers or something pretty soon. But let's go on to talk about today's main topic. So Bitsie has been pretty vocal in the past however many months that she is excited for the Superman film, and in the interview that she did with Bam Smack Pow, go watch the interview that they did with Bitsie. It's about 7 minutes long. You can watch the whole thing and get like all the details, because she talks about her dog, she talks about going to see Superman and basically the influence of crypto and seeing a dog on screen, but watching Superman with dogs, because she partnered up with like this certain organization who are holding like dog friendly screenings of Superman. And so I believe that's like part of the reason why she did this interview with them. And so she talks about wanting somebody who really loves the character and gets the character. And she's obviously talking about James Gunn and Peter Safran and the way that they kind of are handling Superman Lois, obviously characters that Bitsie is very, very familiar with. And I have to agree with her, like, knowing that James Gunn is a Superman fan, you can really trust him. And then watching the film itself, like, it's clear he understands Superman, he understands Lois, he understands Jimmy Olsen, he understands Lex Luthor, all these characters so well because he is a Superman fan. And so, as she says, you really want someone that loves the character and gets the character, and that's exactly what Superman has got with James Gunn. And to be honest guys, I've loved the film so much. Every time I've watched it, I've seen it 3 times, and every time I just really get that sense of this is Superman. Like, James Gunn made the right decision, and everything he's done in this film is definitely with the best of intentions. And I'm actually loving David Corenswet as Superman, Rachel as Lois Lane, and Nicholas Hoult as the very nefarious Lex Luthor. So that is something that she agrees with, and that's just great to hear. I like hearing past actors talk about, you know, the people that are playing their roles now and the people that are taking over. Then in the interview, she goes on to talk a bit about Superman Lois and how one of the things she is most proud of is how grounded the show was, because at the end of the day, it wasn't just a superhero show, and it was different from most other DC TV shows that were running at the time or that had run previously. It was more of a family drama with superhero bits, and obviously the superhero bits with Superman were absolutely insane. Like, some of the best visuals that the Arrowverse has ever seen and DC TV has ever seen, and what they did with the certain storylines with the villains, with the extremely dark version of Lex Luthor and doing like Death of Superman. It can get brutal at times, and it really was super grounded. And obviously going into Superman, you know this is going to be a more comic booky version of Superman. Like, yeah, it's dark at times, like at times it is pretty brutal, and it's quite surprising and shocking because it is kind of light-hearted, it's a bit goofy, it's a bit more like the traditional type Superman you're used to in the comics and with Christopher Reeve, but it can get very dark in the film. And I feel like that darkness was definitely portrayed extremely well in Superman Lois, and it being super grounded. And like, she talks about the storylines that she's proud of, like the miscarriage storyline, the cancer storyline. Those stories were very cathartic for people, and it really got through to people in reality, because she talks about like how when she meets fans at Comic-Con conventions, those are some of the things that are brought up the most to her, how people connected to those stories. And I think if we all look back to those certain stories, you can 100% agree with what she's saying, because it really was very cathartic and it really got through to you. And for me, I was like very emotional watching the cancer storylines and like the ups and downs of everything that Superman Lois had to go through and the other characters as well. But also especially that final episode, like it was very bittersweet. Like it was super sad at the end, but it ended in such a great way that almost was perfect, even though it was bittersweet by the end of the show. And so let's talk about what you guys are probably here for, and that is at the end of this interview with bendctvshow, Bitsie talks about Supergirl, because she names Supergirl and the Flash as the two cameos she would have loved on Superman Lois. And this is a quote: "The obvious one would have been Melissa Benoist as Supergirl, and also Grant Gustin. He's a huge Superman fan, so he would have really enjoyed that." So that is the quote from her in this interview, and obviously this is something that she's been open about in the past, like wanting to do crossovers with Supergirl. She's named Melissa a few times. That would have been something that I would have liked to have seen in the final season of Superman Lois, just because it would have been really fitting, because Supergirl was the original show where Superman was introduced, and then Bitsie was later introduced as Lois Lane in the Arrowverse crossovers. But having Supergirl on the show would have been perfect. However, obviously Melissa's busy, and the logistics probably would have been pretty hard to get around, but you know, they make it work if they want to make it work. Like Tom Cavanaugh did show up in that final season of Superman Lois, but also Superman Lois had the specific problem of being on another Earth, so they would have to kind of make it like a multiversal story, or they would have had to have cameos from the actors playing different versions of the characters or playing different characters entirely. So I agree, I would have loved to see Melissa Benoist as Supergirl in Superman Lois. It would have been really fitting. But also Grant Gustin, obviously he's a huge Superman fan, and Grant has been in the news quite a lot recently because he's been very open about him wanting to return as the Flash. If he was ever asked by James Gunn, he would accept it. And if it was like a TV show, maybe you want more control, but he would like to return as the Flash. Melissa hasn't been so open, saying like, yes, I would 100% return as Supergirl. And obviously in the case of Supergirl right now, we do have a new Supergirl. We got Millie Alcock, who fans are really excited to see as Supergirl in the Supergirl film next summer. Like myself, like I can't wait to do all the videos to do with Supergirl. But the Flash doesn't have that problem because they don't have the DCU Flash yet. So that's why I think fans are really hoping that Grant Gustin might be cast once again as the Flash in the DCU. And that's obviously something that we just need to hold on to, because they're not going to make any Flash projects anytime soon. Like, it's on the back burner, but we know that is on James Gunn's mind. And James Gunn and Grant Gustin have been pretty active, like replying to each other and basically interacting online. So that's just a good sign. But yeah, that's kind of what we really wanted to talk about in this video. But in the interview that you guys can go ahead and watch the whole thing, which I highly recommend you do, with bendctvshow, Bitsie just talks about Superman, crypto, and there is more content there that you guys should listen to, because she does talk more about her dog, what she's been through, and her links to kind of crypto in Superman. So just before we end this video, I want to highlight, I think it's great we have such a recent TV show that was such a success, that was all the same characters that obviously we're getting in the films now. And for me, I just love seeing these two different types of projects, right? Like Superman is a bit lighter, and as I said earlier, Superman Lois is more grounded, but I love that we've got them so close together, because now I really love both of them, and I love that the actors are talking about their different projects. Obviously more so it's like Superman Lois praising Superman, because I'm not sure if David or Rachel have seen Superman Lois, because obviously it's like a smaller project, I guess, because it's on TV. But I guess we will get some more comments as, you know, time goes by. There's more Comic-Con events, and I'm sure some of you guys are going to be meeting Tyler, meeting Bitsie, but also meeting David, Rachel, and all these new actors that are going to be portraying the iconic Superman characters. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment, and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. We're going to be uploading way more frequently. Also, we're going to be starting to do a few more live streams, so make sure you guys stick around and don't miss anything. But for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.